NYPD officers have been placed on modified desk duty following a deadly ATV crash that happened last week.
Yeah, officials are now investigating the events that led up to that crash and whether the officers were chasing that ATV. Let's get right to Fox 5. Robert Moses, he's live in Long Island City, Queens, with the details. Good morning, Robert.
Shani and Dan, good morning to you. We have all seen and heard those dirt bikes and ATVs rumbling down city streets and sidewalks. They are a nuisance and they're also illegal. Well, the police union says that the two officers in this case were simply trying to do their part to get one of them off city streets when it crashed right here. Well, in pursuing that ATV, potentially, these officers have paid a price. Two NYPD officers are on modified duty this morning as the department investigates whether they wrongly chased a stolen ATV that crashed early Friday morning. Modified duty means an officer has been stripped of his or her gun and badge and assigned to non-enforcement tasks. Department policy says that officers must stop a vehicle pursuit when the risks to them and the public outweigh the danger to the community if the suspect is not arrested right away. Police say 22-year-old Angel Lopez of the Bronx was driving the ATV the wrong way on the lower roadway of the Queensboro Bridge early Friday morning when he hit a semi. A man who said he was riding near Lopez told the Daily News that police were pursuing the ATV before the crash. The impact threw Lopez and his male passenger, who has not been identified, off the ATV. Both men died. The truck driver stayed at the scene and has not been charged. In June, when the mayor announced a major crackdown on illegal dirt bikes and ATVs, he said the city had seized about 88% more such vehicles this year than last. Given the push to rid the streets of the vehicles, PBA President Pat Lynch criticized the NYPD's decision to place the two officers on modified duty. The NYPD needs to decide whether enforcing quality of life issues is really a priority, Lynch said. These police officers and cops across the city have been told to prioritize getting illegal bikes and ATVs off the streets because the community is sick of them. They should not be punished for doing the job they were sent out to do. The officers could be given a warning or face more serious consequences like a loss of vacation days or even termination. And it bears repeating that those dirt bikes and ATVs are illegal here in New York City, both on the street as well as on the sidewalk.
Side of your video there, that was involved in the crash with an ATV that you see sitting over here on this island. Two men were riding that ATV when it crashed. One died at the scene. The second taken to an area hospital where he was pronounced dead as well. Police still doing that investigation. A very confusing intersection here that gets you to the lower level of the Queensboro Bridge. That's Queens Plaza. That's closed at Northern Boulevard, Queens Boulevard, Jackson Street. They all meet there. What they're doing is they're pushing all that traffic over here to Queens Plaza North. What you're looking at here is Queens Plaza, where it intersects with Queens Boulevard, Northern Boulevard, and Jackson Street. That semi that you're talking about, That is sitting over here on this ramp. You see that blue and red truck sitting down there. That was the truck that was moving just before 2 o'clock this morning when this ATV struck the side of that truck. Now, as a result of that crash, there were 2 males on that ATV. One of them died at the scene. The second one taken to the New York hospital, where he was also pronounced dead. And what you have now is a police investigation going on, closing down this intersection. This is the main access to the lower level of the Queensboro Bridge. And what's going to happen here is on the right side of your video, that's Queens Plaza North. All that traffic being diverted from those 3 streets on the Queens Plaza North takes you to Crescent Street. That's how you get to the bridge there. And of course, the upper level.
The NYPD is slamming the brakes on illegal ATVs and dirt bikes in the city.
Are not police officers. Police say instead they are thieves wearing NYPD t-shirts, posing as officers. Last month, the men pushed their way into this home, kicking in the door. First, they allegedly told a 27-year-old woman they were looking for her boyfriend. But police say that was a lie to get the victim to open the door. Surveillance video shows the men entering the home in Middle Village. It's a multi-family house. The victim lives on the 2nd floor, and once inside, the fake cops handcuffed the victim, then ransacked the place. A neighbor who lives on the 1st floor of the house tells Pix 11 News it was a terrifying ordeal.
She was scared. She was running on the streets on her pajamas.
It was late night. The victim was inside her apartment alone.
You never expect that. Opening the door, seeing police, supposedly it's the state, it's the government, so you're gonna let them in, and then this happens.
The NYPD is investigating several recent robberies and home invasions where thieves are dressing up as cops or identifying themselves as officers, including in the Bronx. Police say that's what this man did before taking cash from a victim. Back in Middle Village, people who live on this block are shocked to hear about the home invasion.
It's a quiet neighborhood, and it's unusual that something like this goes on.
The victim was not hurt, but the thieves got away with $10,000 in cash. Police have a clear picture of who they are looking for, but if you have any information on this, call Crime Stoppers. The number is 800-577-TIPS.
Development in a years-long KARE 11 investigation into Hardel Sherrell's death in the Beltrami County Jail.
KARE 11 has learned a prosecutor is reviewing possible criminal charges. AJ Legault joins us with an update in our series, Cruel and Unusual. AJ?
Yeah, we are fast approaching the 4-year anniversary of Hardel Sherrell's death in the Beltrami County Jail. After days of suffering, begging guards and medical staff for help that never came. We've now confirmed the State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension has concluded its criminal investigation and presented the facts of the case to the Beltrami County Attorney's office to make a charging decision.
We're gonna get him, baby.
It's been more than 2 years
Mama's gonna get him.
since a grieving mom named Delshia Perry first took us to visit her son Hardel's grave.
They refused to give him medical care.
And shared his story.
That's why he's here now. If they had treated him and given him the medical care that they should have, he wouldn't be here today. He wouldn't be here today.
Our investigation documented how the man, who never even got his day in court, died on a jail cell floor in excruciating pain, paralyzed, slowly suffocating over a period of days from a treatable disease that attacked his internal organs. Jail guards and medical staff thought he was faking. Because of that medical neglect, earlier this year, jail doctor Todd Leonard was stripped by the state of his license to practice medicine. An administrative law judge issued a blistering finding in the case.
The judge
Here's Hardel's mom again reading part of that finding.
even in his final hours, as he sat in a wheelchair in filthy scrubs with urine streaming down his legs. His caregivers would not believe him. As he laid unconscious, half naked on the floor of his jail cell, white foam coming from his mouth, they still did not believe him. It took his death to convince medical professionals and jail staff that the patient was not malingering.
Sweeping jail reform legislation was passed at the Capitol. It's named the Hardel Sherrell Act. But to date, no one has been held criminally responsible.
And with the BCA investigation complete, prosecutors will now need to determine the answer to a very key question. Did what happened to Hardel rise to the level of criminal conduct? The Beltrami County Attorney, David Hanson, told me today it will likely take his office several weeks to first determine whether they have a conflict of interest and need to ask an outside prosecutor to step in.
Can you talk about the separate federal investigation and all this?
Yes, there is a separate federal investigation. The FBI has been interviewing witnesses now for a couple of years, and we've also learned that there's a federal grand jury that's been impaneled. They've issued subpoenas in the case, so we know that's also moving behind the scenes right now.
Well, and congrats to you, AJ, and the investigative team for bringing this to light. You made a lot of important changes, so
Absolutely.
we appreciate it.
I think Hardel's mom is the one who has made
Absolutely.
a lot of important changes. This doesn't happen without that mom refusing to take no for an answer.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, AJ.
The state is taking a big step to help kids succeed and stay on the right track, and advocates in northern Michigan will play a big role in that. Governor Whitmer signed an executive order reestablishing the Michigan Committee on Juvenile Justice. More than 24 people will take a closer look at the state's juvenile justice plan. One of the people appointed is Cecilia Chesney, the Chief Executive Officer for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northwestern Michigan. Her experience can help provide alternatives to incarceration, like introducing kids to different trades or outdoor activities.
So sometimes in the most rural stuff areas, things are happening with children that we don't even realize, and the sexual abuse, the physical abuse, you know, in a lot of cases, it's worse than what you're seeing in the inner cities.
Chesney says kids as young as the age of 10 are entering the juvenile system in Michigan. She hopes to help reverse the cycle of generational poverty for kids across the state.